feel. You're not supposed to be in pain. You're supposed to know how to do this with smiling and walking through it cheerfully. And sometimes that's not real true. You know, I hurt, and I need to be able to feel that pain. And people loved me through that weekend. And I made a commitment to come back last year. And they did the morning reflections. And that carried me through for a long time, what I heard there. You know, I just don't always know that I've made a connection with something that's been said until I need it, and then it comes forth. And I made a commitment to be here this year. I just do this 1 year at a time. You know, I'm not going to commit that I'm going to be here for the next 20 years, you know. And I'm really grateful for the convention committee, for the folks that are involved in putting this on, because I know how frustrated they were the first year, and it's the first time I ever got a thank you letter from a convention. You know, which was nice. And but that they continue to walk in faith and to put this convention on, you know, out here in the middle of the woods where you have the time, and that they schedule in playtime and nap time. You know, I don't feel like I'm missing something. And I had all these great plans for what I was going to do this weekend, and I left here yesterday about 1 o'clock in the afternoon and got back about 12:30 in the morning, and I missed, you know, and on the way out the door it's like, hold that speaker till we get back now, you know, and save us a plate of dinner. And they did. We came back, somebody cooked me a hot dog. That was good, you know. And we came in and we said, well, you know, how'd you do? Was it okay? You know, and it's like, well, we don't know what's going on with the van. And all of a sudden there was a battery charger, you know, at 1 o'clock in the morning out of the sky, it appears, you know. That's what happens for me here. Like this weird stuff, you know, happens. Like, I think it's weird that a battery charger shows up at 1 o'clock in the morning. You know, I just find that a little in the middle of nowhere, you know. And that people care whether or not that van's going to make it back to Wisconsin or not, and that people love, and I don't know, there's whatever is here, whatever it is, you know, and we pick that it up in different places and stuff, but there's just something real special for me here. The spirituality that I come away with, the things that I'm able to get in touch with here that I can't get in touch with because it's too busy out there, it's too loud, it's too noisy, too many sirens, too much happening. I can't be still, you know. I got to spend all day yesterday with a woman that I dearly love and that I only get to see when I come here. And we had a time together that had the van not broken down in Indianapolis, we wouldn't have had that. It would have been busy. There would have been a workshop, there would have been meals, there would have been a speaker, and we were just trapped in this tiny little car running up and down the highway, you know. And we got a chance to really spend some time together and to really share at a level that we wouldn't have gotten a chance to otherwise, you know. And we're sitting at the campfire last night sharing our story about running up and down the highway. And through all of it, it was like, this has been a good day. This has really been a good day. And it was. And we both thought that was kind of weird, you know. My kids got shook down over here in Fort Wayne. Your people are right friendly. And they patted my kids down and went through my van, you know, because they were kids. And they looked like little hoods or something. And but it was a good weekend. It wasn't me getting patted down. You know, had been me some years ago, I would have been real worried about that, and I would have been gone somewhere, you know. What I get from this, I talk a lot, you know, but I can't tell you what it is because it's so inside that it touches when I come here, and what this convention gives to me, and I try to give it back, and there's just, I can't outgive NA, man. I just can't outgive it. You know, I try to try to carry that message, and y'all just keep blessing me back here with more and more and more, and it's just so overwhelming. I am so grateful to be here, so grateful for the convention committee, you know, and so grateful for the God of my understanding, because I truly believe that every person that's here is here for that purpose. There is a reason, you know, that this particular group of people are together to love one another and to share with each other. Thanks for letting me share. I love y'all, and I hope to be back. I'm making a commitment, God willing, to get back here next year for this convention. Thanks.
I'm sorry.
Hi family, my name's Kathy and I'm an addict.
Hi, Kathy.
Last year was my first convention, and meeting other people from different states and different areas of Indiana. And when we were sitting out in the barn and for sheer reflections, the only thing I could say when I got home for 2 weeks was, wow. Because I was just so overwhelmed with the spirit of being here and the unconditional love. And I heard an addict share this weekend that, because we were at the workshop of feeling apart from and not a part of, and this addict really touched where I was at, because I was feeling apart from and not a part of, and I couldn't understand why I was putting a distance between me and the fellowship. And I guess a lot of it, from what I understand, is that my body was going through a transitional stage, a growing stage. And it was weird because the workshops that I had picked out all fit into the reason why I was being apart from and not a part of. And it really opened up my eyes. When I got up here, I went upstairs, ended up in my old room, 13 beds and the only one in there, and I'm like, what's this? You know, and I was like, well, you know. And I think it was my higher power giving me time to be alone, to think. Because at home I was ripping and tearing here and being there and being here and work and being all stressed out and not having that private time to sit down and to think things out. And the one was feeling the stranger inside, you know, and before I came here, it's like 3 or 4 months ago, that's when I really started feeling apart from. It's because my sponsor had to let me go, and I had her for a year. You know, and I knew I had to find another one. And the old feelings of being abandoned and being deserted were really weighing heavy, because it was like, I don't want to get close to anybody anymore because I don't want to be left alone again. So I'm going to keep you all way out there. You know, and listening to the workshop of feeling that stranger within, you know, it's like, I can't do this because I'll die. You know, I need my family back. And in the fear, you know, it's like, here I get a new sponsor, I have to start all over again and trust her. You know, trust was a big issue for me growing up. And it's like, if I sit down and if I talk to my sponsor, she'll get to know me. And then the old fears of, well, what if we can't relate? What if, just all the what ifs were coming in. And I realized this weekend that I can't do that. You know, I have to sit down and tell her that I'm scared that you're going to leave. You know, because everybody that I loved when I grew up left. You know, and recovery and commitment. When you grow up in a family that don't make commitments, it's hard to learn how to make commitments. But I know all the times that I screw up, that this family's gonna love me, and that's so special to me. Because, like I tell somebody else, no matter how many times you screw up, I'll be there to pick you up, dust you off, and stand you back on your feet. But I gotta take the walls down in order for that to happen. And I learned that this weekend, and I'm so grateful for that. And I know that I will be back again next year, because you are my family and I need you all. And with that, I pass.
I've been at it. My name's Lur. This spiritual weekend for me is every year. It's more than just coming down here and seeing my friends. It's more than just leaving the city, getting into the woods. When I first came here, I had lost a friend to this addiction. And it was a very emotional time, and I didn't know how to feel. I didn't know how to express myself, and I was in a lot of pain. And I found out that a lot of people in another area, in another part of the world, you know, and I live in Kalamazoo, and this ain't very far in a big world, but somehow I felt like I was home. And I've been back ever since. And I have those memories of the first convention and the second one and now this one. And I carry those memories into the next one. And I was sharing at a campfire last night about this other friend of mine. We had a convention in Kalamazoo last year about a friend of mine that had passed away because of another disease that's worldwide now. And I didn't have to go anywhere, you know, at that time. I could sit and I could cry and I could talk to my sponsor and but at the first one I couldn't do that. And there's just something that just brings me home when I come here. I mean, there's a lot of spiritual retreats and I've been to a lot of conventions, but when I come here, it's like there's just a state of mind, a state of being that I get into this little focus inside, you know, and I feel like being a child again. I feel like just wanting to cry all the time. It's so great. And yeah. Thanks.
Thanks,
I'm Ag, I'm Roger. Hey, it's my third time here too, you know. It's something that my area does. And each year it gets different and it gets better. And it's like when I was a kid, I went to summer camp twice, 2 summers in a row. And I met all these kids, you know, from all over northern Indiana. And got to play with them and I think about them, you know, during the year because I felt so disconnected where I was at. You know, and that's how I relate back to this convention, because all year long, I look forward to this weekend. You know, it's not, no, I'm not living in the future, playing some shit like that. It's like, man, when I come here, you know, to Camp Mac in my head, and everybody, even though if I don't remember their names, I remember their faces and what they told me, and how they gave me a hug. It's like, man, this just keeps me going all year, you know, it's like it carries me. So, not to be like one of them book thumpers, but guess what? Just for days, carry me. We believe that a higher power will take care of us. We all have times when it seems as though our lives are falling apart. There are days or even weeks when it seems that everything can go wrong, is going wrong. Whether it's the loss of a job, the death of a loved one, or the end of a relationship, man, that hurts. We doubt that we'll survive the changes taking place in our lives. It's during the times when the world is crashing down around our ears that we find our greatest faith in a loving higher power. No human being could relieve our suffering. We know that only God's care can provide the comfort we seek. We feel broken, but we go on, knowing that our lives will be repaired. As we progress in our recovery and our faith in our higher power grows, we are sure to greet the difficult times with a sense of hope, despite the pain we may be in. We need not despair, for we know that our higher power's care will carry us through where we can't walk on our own. Just for a day, I rely on God's care through the painful times, knowing that my higher power will always be there. And yeah, you know, you all are my higher power, and so is this. Thanks.
I'm Scott. I'm an addict. For the last couple of months, I've been feeling like really disconnected and like really terrified. You know, like that overwhelming kind of fear, like I have right now, and I was really like looking forward to coming down here, but at the same time, like kind of dreading it too, you know, because last year I made it about a day and a half into this convention, flipped out and said, well, it's enough for me, you know, I'm done. And I don't know, I was at a retreat in I think it was March, and it was real intense and real heavy, and there was like all these guys there, you know, doing this male bonding thing, and didn't want to have any part of that, so I just like sat around and told dirty jokes and made up lies all weekend long. And that was kind of what I wanted to do here, you know, and I did a lot of that too, you know, kind of hid, you know. But there's a couple people here that I was able to share some stuff with, you know, and to kind of tell people where I'm at and what's going on, you know, and just get shit out in the open. I don't know where Mark's at. I think I've hugged him about 2,000 times this weekend, you know. Is he? I don't know. I kind of like the connection I'm feeling right now is like when I was a newcomer and I'd come to meetings and people would say, you know, we're really glad you're here and keep coming back, and they said it with like some enthusiasm, you know, they say like, oh yeah, keep coming back, you know. It was like they really wanted me to keep coming back, and they were really glad to see me, you know, and that really sucked. And that's kind of the feeling I have this weekend, you know, that there were some people that I had been feeling disconnected from, that when I talked to, you know, I don't know, it was like that painful connection, you know, like that painful newcomer type shit, I guess. I don't know, that's all.
Hi, Greg.
My name's Greg and I'm an addict.
Hi, Greg.
Hi, everyone. I'm really grateful to be here. It's taken me a lot just to sit up here and talk to you people, because I don't share too much at conventions. I too have been here. This is the third year in a row. And what I wanted to say last night when I went up there is to say thank you to the 35 or 40 people that were here that first year. The person I came here with during that first convention, dragged me here, you know. I remember driving up here for the first time saying, I'm not staying in one of them goddamn cabins. And I'm not ever going to stay in one of them goddamn cabins. I don't know, this convention has a lot of special meanings for me. You know, I met some really great people. I came here and I never used again. I'm going to graduate as a nurse in August. You know, and it just amazes me, you know, because I'm the addict that could never finish anything. I always failed at everything. You know. Now I've got this big overwhelming fear that I've got to go to work. So I'm trying to deal with that. I start planning come to this convention like in the winter, like November, December. I'm asking people that I go to the convention with, are you going? Are you going? I don't know, that's so far in the future. I'm going. You know, I know exactly what room I'm staying in, and I know exactly what's going on. You know, and what's kind of cool is that I go to a lot of different conventions now, and I'll be walking in the hallways or in a hotel, and someone will come up and say, "Hey, aren't you Greg from the Milford convention?" Or, you know, and it's kind of weird. I'll be like halfway across the country and see people here. And in this weekend, I did some things that I'm not really accustomed to doing. And I came up with my normal group of people, you know, and I didn't hang out with them at all. And that was really strange. I hung out with people that I've never met before. You know, I made some really close bonds with some people. And it was kind of cool because like the next morning, like 2 of those people came back to me, you know, and said some really nice things about me. And I was like, wow. I said, oh, you just don't know me that well yet. So I'm really kind of starting to look forward to next year. I heard a lot of people share about it. I don't know what happens here. I don't know if it's because it's so intimate, but something happens here, you know, that I can't explain. There's a closeness here that I have never felt at any other convention. I have goosebumps just like right now, you know, and it's kind of cool to see you guys, you know, and Howard and Lynn and all those people that were here freezing that first year.
Freezing again this year.
I'm just really grateful to be here, and thanks for letting me share.
Yeah, I'm Agni, Mike. Hi, Mike. How you doing? This is the 3rd year I've been here too and everything. And I come here each year, you know, with I first came here, I tried to plan on my mind what it was going to be like, you know. And then I quit doing that because I know that it's going to be wilder than I ever imagined. And there is a spiritual happening here, you know. This is real, you know. I will hear the things I need to hear. And I'll listen here, you know. I gotta listen no place else to it. I try to listen here and everything else, and it's just, you know, we go with love. That's what it's all about. Thank you very much.
I'm an addict. My name's Mike. thanks to you people in this program and my higher power, I've been able to stay clean another day. And I've also been here for, this is my 3rd year. I guess I'm a junior and I graduate next year, right? No. I like to make people laugh. Huh?
Cured.
Yeah, I'm cured. No. I like to make people laugh. It makes me feel good to hear people laugh, and I'm glad I can laugh today without having to use drugs and to make things funny, because life is funny, and we're here on this earth to have a good time, and I do at this convention. I do look forward to it, and I was real worried about, if we're going to be here, if I was going to have to work, and they say 90% of the things you worry about never come true, and that's a fact, because everything worked out perfect. And I couldn't have planned it any better, except for the weather. But we can't plan the weather. Anyway, I'm going to be reflecting back on this convention the rest of this year, because it was a wonderful time, and I got to see all my old friends that the friendships we've developed over the years, and try to get together with them during the year this time, and keep our open lines of communications going. And it's going to put a lot more. It's going to make me develop my program more back home, because I've kind of becoming apart from my group at home because of personal conflicts, I guess, and I think it's me, not them. Now that I've been able to share with some people here, and I'm going to start trying to put my heart back into my program, and into my relationship with people too. I sometimes put personalities before principles, and it's been really great. I thank everybody for being here, and I hope to be back again next year myself. Thanks.
Hi everybody, I'm Dennis and I'm an addict.
Hi, Dennis.
It's good to be back again. It's hard to believe how you do something and you never know how it's going to affect your life. And this place is one of those things. 2 years ago coming here has made major changes on my life, my recovery, and who I am. And it's been wonderful. And I'd like to make a suggestion to anybody: if you made a connection with somebody here, get their phone number, address, and when you think of them, give them a call, because that's what's kept that going for me. It's been very, the friendships I've made here, there's been some that I've kept active throughout the year. It's not just, completely out of mind until I get here again. It's an ongoing thing that they're actually in my life throughout the year. So make that effort. You won't regret it. And there is something that is happening here. I don't know if it's the facility or like Greg was saying, the intimacy or what, but it is love, and the bond we have in this fellowship. And it's something I got here this year, a little bit of humility in out there tipping the boat over in the middle of the lake, and and it was something I needed. So we're lucky nobody was hurt, but it was a good time the whole weekend. So thanks.
Good night, my name's Ed.
And,
can't believe I'm doing this 2 days in a row.
That's correct.
Yeah. But I didn't make it up here till later Saturday night, and had a pretty busy day Saturday, and I got home, was getting my clothes packed, and got thinking, was it really worth it to go up there? And you know, sometimes I get so caught up in this life I have today that I don't know, I forget a lot of times where I got it from. And I got up here and was all wound up from running all over the place. And you know, it took a while for me to kind of wind down. And I got up yesterday, and it didn't take me long to find out why I was up here. And you know, remind me what everything's all about for me today. And the honesty that I've heard shared from other people, and the honesty that somehow I've been able to share with other people, and you know, people that I didn't even know before Saturday, and you know, standing out on a porch at 2 o'clock in the morning, you know, sharing with people where we came from and what's going on today. And for me, the miracle is alive. And I don't want to leave, but I don't have to leave everything here either. I'm taking it with me. Taking all you home with me too. And you know, part of me dreads going back to my home area because just sometimes it's hard for me to deal with other people, and hard for me to keep out other people's problems. But something else I've learned this weekend is that just being there a lot of times for other people when they're hurting, keeping my mouth shut, maybe just smiling at them, that that's the best thing I can do. I got probably two of the people that are closest to me in my recovery are both really going through some rough times right now. And I feel a lot more comfortable with that, where I'm at with it today, than I was when I got here Saturday. And we do grow with love. And, you people are the people that taught me what love was, because you definitely loved me before I could learn to love myself. And today, gratitude's a feeling, not a thought. And I hope that never changes. Thanks for letting me share. That's all I had.
My name's Rick and I'm an addict. I just wanted to say that so many wonderful people here that have shared a part of them and has experienced strength and hope, and it's taught me what the words unconditional love really mean. Truly, God does work through other people, and there's so much power in working together. The word we, unity, you know, as a group, and to be accepted for once in my life just feels so great. I just wanted to thank you all very much. It's so great to be here, and I'll never forget this experience, and I will keep coming back.
Hi everybody, I'm an addict. My name's Nancy. Hi Nancy. I too am grateful to be with you people today through my program, My Higher Power. And all of you, I've been able to stay clean through this convention. Of course, that's not hard, but everyday living is. First of all, I want to thank the committee for all the work that they've done, and I know that they're small and they're mighty. So, you know, it's without working and trying, they do a good job. Please remember to try to pick up all your shit and clean up your area, because they gotta do it if you don't. Hey, I care for them, you know, they always have a place for me and they work hard. You know, I oftentimes forget that I can be a messy person. Of course, I know the mess I made of my life when I was using. Today I need to take a little responsibility for what I am and who I am, where I go, and be respectable for other people. I guess I feel like a dinosaur too, all the other ones getting up here and sharing about being here for 3 years. And that's neat. You know, we all bonded when we got here the first year, and last year I felt a part of, but this year I feel a part. Last year I felt apart from. Yeah, I isolated myself last year. I don't know, whatever it was going through, but this year I feel a part of. And it's great that I can be here and be with you people, you know, and I'm always thinking I could have done more. I should have been here. I wanted to do that. You know, I missed this workshop. I didn't make it to the campfire last night, you know, but whatever happens, happens, you know, and I connect with different people in different ways when I see them. And I know that when I got here, my energy level, my recovery level was about like this. Now it's about like this. And you guys all helped fill me up inside of all the love and compassion and understanding that you all gave me, and all the hugs. Because I need those hugs from everybody. And it's a great part of this program. I'm just glad you're here. Keep coming back, and it works when you work it, just for today.
I'm Dan, I'm an addict. I've been thinking about what I want to say, and I know I can't say it all in 5 minutes, so just bear with me a little bit. But my first convention was this one, We Grow With Love 1. And I've been standing here reflecting about that a little bit, and this weekend has just really fit in with my recovery. And there's a lot of coincidences. I look at them as coincidences, but I know it's my higher power looking out for me. And just a couple examples of that. I doubt if anybody else noticed that I bought the 4-year anniversary T-shirt last night, and I've been trying since We Grow With Love 1 to get one of those, so then I got it. And when I picked up the basic text the first time, I looked at it, and in the very front of the book, NA was started July of '53. That's when I was born. And the first convention here was right after I got out of prison. It's like, NA was here for me from the beginning. Just really glad to be part of this. It's really exciting to see people that were here the first year come back, keep coming back. I've seen a lot of familiar faces this weekend, and they're people that I can go up and talk to and hug and get to know better this year than I did the first year or the second year. And I've seen so much growth, not only in the convention, but in the people that I see here, and not just in our area, but in other people coming in from outside, and talking to people when they first get here, and getting to know them a little bit, and then at the end of the weekend, giving them a hug as they're leaving, and them giving me what I need for going back out there and looking forward to another one. And with not only the people that were here getting their years last night, their year tokens or or the 30-day tokens. And, you know, with Greg being here for his first convention and been here every one since, and just, it's overwhelming, but it's, you know, and I, like I said, I just didn't know what I could say to let you know how much this one means to me, you know. And right after this one, my second convention was World Convention in Chicago, and I was on the highest high I'd ever been in my life all weekend. You know, it was beyond all comprehension on what was happening there with that many addicts, all after the same thing, you know. And it wasn't drugs for a change. And then having the privilege of going to Baltimore and finding out that not only was Paris out of my reach, well, actually, if I'd have really wanted to go, it wouldn't have been out of my reach financially, but officially with requirements of not being able to go there as a felon, I can't go, you know. I'm looking forward to being able to go to more world conventions. But I was thinking about that back there, and this one means just as much to me now as the number of people isn't as important to me anymore as the closeness of recovery that I get here. And I know that no matter what anybody wants to require of me to go to other countries and all that, you can't keep me out of my country, you know. And I've shared with some of you that this is one that, you know, I can go home at night. I live one of the closest ones to this convention as far as where I live, and I can go and sleep in my own bed and enjoy some family life and this, and you know, that's just part of what I'm working on today is keeping a balance there, and it's an everyday thing. And this one allows me to do that. You know, I can still be a part of their life and come in and take all of this I need from you guys too. So, so really appreciate everybody being here, and glad to meet some new people this year, and thanks for being here too, and keep coming back.
I'm Starlin, I'm an addict. I thought I was going to keep my mouth shut this weekend and just, you know, lay back and listen to everybody. And I did feel bad because I didn't hit a couple workshops that I wanted to. But, you know, the one-on-one that I had talked to a lot of people was real spiritual for me. I got a lot of inner self-knowledge and this calmness that I've never felt before. You know, I had planned coming to this like 3 months ago. The first time I seen the flyer, my sponsor was talking about it, and I got all excited about it. She showed me pictures, and I've been to one other convention. And I was like, oh, this is going to be really cool. A bunch of addicts in the woods bonding, you know, this is going to be real spiritual, and this is going to be wonderful. And then a week ago, she pops my 4-step on me, and I started going, and if anybody's ever done a 4-step, they know the pain and all the different emotions that come with it, or at least it is for me. And Thursday night, you know, I thought, I'm not going to go. I can't deal with all this right now. And I called my sponsor, and I was like, you know, I don't think I can go to this. And she's like, I think that's what you need, is to go. She said you'll get a lot of insights, you'll hear a lot from other people, and I'm real thankful I did come. Last night I got kind of tired during the lead, and I'm thinking, well, I'll go to bed, you know, I'll say goodnight to everybody, and I didn't. And I'm real grateful that I didn't. There's a lot of wonderful people up here, And I've never felt so much love in my life, you know. There's a lot of people that did talk to me one-on-one, and there's a lot of people, you know, I'm not the one. I used to think, you know, well, people got to come up and say hi to me. I mean, I don't know, you know, I don't do it, you know. I want to meet different kinds of people, so I kind of, I'll reach out, and sometimes I'm nosy and I'll step in somebody's conversation. Not on purpose, but just to get to know people. And
Expecting a phone call?
it's God. He's telling me to shut up, though. I don't know. I love this convention, and I can't wait to get back here next year. And I was thinking last night, you know, I don't want this to end. I don't want to go back to reality. This would be great if we could all, a bunch of addicts could just live on one island and share love and happiness. You know, it would be great, but that's not reality, and I know that today. And in the past, I would live in that reality. Today, I know that I take what you people have given me this weekend.
Decision to come here. It had to do with my own personal circumstances. Generally, I work a lot, and I guess like Bill over there, you know, maybe too much. I don't know. But anyway, April, she was trying to decide to come, and April ended up coming. And as far as my affiliation with NA, I've known about it off and on the last couple of years, but I hadn't really started trying to get involved with the people until like the last 6 months or so. And I started trying to learn about the program and what it's all about. And it's been a growing experience for me, because if it hadn't been for April, I probably wouldn't be here. And most of the time I come, she has a lot to do with it, unless you just don't want me there. And this time around, she happens to want me here, and I'm glad I've been able to come and share in her growth, her recovery with you all. And I appreciate that you've been able to be a help to her, because in helping her, I think you've helped me too. And as far as your theme for this program, We Grow in Love, I appreciate that topic, because my higher power helps me to appreciate that. You know, there's no greater love than when you surrender yourself on behalf of your friends. And that's, you know, important concept to bring in, friends. You know, not people that you want to take advantage of, but, you know, people you want to help, and hopefully they can help you, and by surrendering yourself. So, you know, I surrendered myself, and I came this weekend as much as I could, because I still had to work. And I kind of feel goofy, you know, I don't have my act together. You know, my car is not perfect, my home's not perfect, you know, my job's not perfect, nothing's perfect about me. But I am who I am, and I'm trying to get better. And hopefully by coming and rubbing shoulders with you, I am better. Now, if I've offended anybody this weekend, I'm sorry, because I've been getting names wrong. And, you know, I know your faces. I say, yeah, Stan, no, it's Skip. Phil, no, it's Bill. So if I've offended you, you know, I apologize. But I want to say that for a person who doesn't normally take vacations, and because of trying to get my act together on the outside, this has been an enjoyable experience for me. I can't. Last time I took a vacation, I think it's when I got married. I took it for my honeymoon. My car broke down, and you know, that was a pain in the butt. And you know, I hadn't really taken one since then. And before that, I used to take them when I used to work. And so sometimes I'm not sure if I know how to relax. Sometimes I'm not sure if I know how to fun. I know, you know, I want to, but you know, I don't know how. So it's nice to come into an environment where the environment is relaxed for you, and you know, don't have a lot of expectations placed on you. Just, you know, to try to make the best of the situation and interact with other people in love. And so I want to say, before coming here, this function didn't mean much to me. And as I got here, you know, it's kind of scary being out here in the boonies, and you wonder what's going to happen. You know, make sure you got enough gas in your car so you can get away if you got to. But you know, now that I've been here, I kind of know a little bit about what it's about, and
I want to say I've appreciated my time here. I appreciate you having me here and sharing with me and surrendering yourselves to me. And hopefully I'll make it back again. So thank you.
My name's Jenny. I'm an addict.
Hi, Jenny.
Well, I just didn't want to come here this weekend. I needed to come here this weekend, and I knew that there's been a lot of changes going on in my life for the whole year, basically, and more just all the time. And I've been getting really confused, taking time out to feel what's going on, and that's what I knew I needed to do here, and I knew I could do here. I went to workshops and spent some serious time thinking and reflecting. I needed that. I spent a lot of time playing and goofing around, and I needed that. A little bit of everything. I picked up so much from different people I heard that they probably didn't even know it meant anything to anybody, but it's like it touched me and it's something I needed to hear. I went to a workshop and it was on fear of change, and it's like since I've been dealing with change this whole year, I really needed that. And about halfway through the workshop, it's like I could finally hear myself again, because all I'd been hearing for months now is just this churning in my head and this thought and that thought and this person's opinion and that person's opinion, and not being able to really hear myself and what I need. And during that workshop, I could hear myself and what I needed again. And so I jumped up and I ran to my room, and I'm like, okay, got to get this down. And so I grabbed some paper and pen, and I went off by myself and did some journaling to pay attention to what my needs are and what's going on with me, and view that as important. You know, I needed to do that. And the support I've got this weekend has just been wonderful. The hugs, I love the hugs. I used to hate hugs. I used to not, don't touch me, you know, and now I love the hugs. The more the better. And that, as far as we grow with love, that helps me grow, you know, the support, because when you're loving me and you're supporting me, it's easier for me to love and support myself and say, okay, this is what I can handle, this is what I can't handle. You know, and I was able to share that with someone very special to me this weekend. And it was real special because I just got that support. I didn't get any judgments. I didn't get any, you know, you shoulds or you shouldn'ts. You know, I just got the support, and that felt really wonderful. So I'm very glad I'm here, that I came, and that I got in touch with what I need, and then I'm able to share that with others. Thanks.
My name's Steve.
Hi, Steve.
Feel really blessed to be a part of this fellowship today, and especially to be in such a fitting place that I truly believe is blessed. You know, the rock formations are phenomenal here. The work that the people in the cafeteria have done kind of coincide with the hard work that we have to do to get here and to stay here. I don't know, it's kind of odd for me to get out and to share 2 days in a row, you know. It's just I've been sitting over here and I've been keeping it inside, you know, and I'm just real thankful for everybody being part of this fellowship today, and I'm blessed to be here today, and to prove that the old lie, you know, that once an addict, always an addict isn't true. You know, don't have to be that way. You know, when I compare my recovery with what it used to be like, you know, I never knew what it was. Always once a junkie, always a junkie, and I accepted that and I lived by that. And for me to have acceptance that I don't have to live by that today, it is great. You know, it really is. It's great to be able to get in touch with Mother Nature, you know, to get out. I find it helpful for me to gain serenity that way. When I first came into recovery, all these people say, oh yeah, you need to go to these conventions or retreats, you know, you find a peace of mind, you know. I said, oh man, these people are really high on something. And, but I listened and I found a lot of truth in that, you know, to be able to get and see the chipmunks and the woodchuck I was so close to today allowed me to sleep in his cabin. And I got a real nice picture of him today, real close up, and he just stood there, and it was like, you know, this is where I live, you know. Yeah, and you know, I kind of live outside the city myself, but this is even more outside, you know. And this is great, you know, this is where I can find some peace. This is where I can find something about myself that I need to work on. And I've done that this weekend. And I wouldn't be able to do that if I was around people that were using. Well, first of all, if I was around people that were using, I'd be using myself. I wouldn't be here. You know, if I was here, I'd be out making the money to get more, to use more, and that cliche. And I found just everything here is beautiful. It's beautiful. I want to return. Whether I'm with the tape company or not, I still want to return. It's, you know, I've been sitting over like, I don't want to get on here because I'm with the tape company. It has nothing to do with it, you know. You know, you got to share, and I want to share what's inside so I can let it out. And when I first got here, and still today, I sometimes get that feeling, my armpits sweat, and I'm afraid I'll say something that won't make any sense, or I don't know how to say it because I always had the inferiority complex that I didn't know how to speak well. My sentences were broken, and you know, and this and that, and that's another part of the gratitude I can get is I know, you know, I've not gone to meetings where they come up to you and say, "Man, what were you saying?" You know, that just doesn't happen. Why? My addict thinking is, oh, they won't like me because I don't have anything to say. See, but that's me. That's not you. And you know, I want to keep coming back. I want to keep coming back because I get better. You know, not better than, just better. I can see the improvement in myself, and I can't do it alone. You know, and a lot of times I want to. I can't do it alone, and I thank everybody for being here. That's all I have.
Hi, my name's Frank. I'm an addict. Hey, Frank. And yeah, I've had a really good time this weekend, and glad I came down here. And I wanted to get up here and say goodbye to y'all, and I'm gonna take off here. And this is the first convention that I was at that I actually shared at a workshop, and I think that's a lot of growth for me. You know, I've been doing more in front of people, talking about myself, and that shows a lot of growth for me today. And I'm gonna come next year. And everybody take care.
Yeah, I'm Ray. I'm an addict.
It's different this year than the last two. I told myself this year that I didn't get involved with the convention committee because I wanted to go to a convention, this one, and just go to a convention and enjoy the convention, you know, be able to do the activities. And I didn't do any activities. So I always had that excuse the years before, you know, I was so busy, you know, program, had to make sure everything was set up, everything was going. And merchandise, you know, I had to make sure it was ready. Then I said, well, this year I'm going to come and I'm going to go to workshops and meet people and learn. And I got here, and I went to one workshop because I had to chair the workshop, so I had to be there. And there was another workshop going on that I wanted to go to. You know, it just happens at that time of the workshop I need to go to, but I was chairing another one. And my wife kept asking me, you know, have you been to a workshop? I said no. But I've been sharing with newcomers, you know, I've been sharing with other people that were here. And to me, that was just as good as going to a workshop. You know, those things that we talked about that were basic things I learned when I first came around. But I tend to forget about those things, you know, and you meet newcomers and you start talking about those things. It's like, yeah, that's what I need to do, but I don't do it. you know, and then, you know, and like our speaker Saturday night, I get my days confused. Like he was talking about, you know, like I went up and told him, I said, you're the first speaker I ever heard being in Narcotics Anonymous that I actually cried over because you were so gut level honest. I mean, I still have skeletons in the closet and I still look for the keys so I can open that closet, you know, and get those skeletons out. And you're so in touch with yourself that you were able to share these things and share them honest and not, you know, worry what people thought about you, you know. And it really amazed me, you know, because I met him when he first got here the first year, and he was telling me that, yeah, I go to all these conventions and they're in the big city and I never stay at the convention, I'm running around the city, and I got here and there wasn't nowhere to go. I mean, he was stuck. Yeah, he said, I learned about myself. And I think that's the biggest thing here, we learn about ourselves, because you can't run from yourself here, you know, that you can't. It's not in a city where you can go walking down the street and go shopping in the shops. The only thing you could buy here would probably be some pine cones and some squirrels, you know. And you gotta, you know, this, I think this place, what it does for me is just lets me get to know me, and that's the worst person I ever want to know is myself. You know, that's the worst person in recovery that I ever want to get to know is myself, because if I get to know other people, I don't look at myself. But this place makes me look at myself and gives me another booster shot for the upcoming year in the summer. And getting married and getting other responsibilities in life, I don't get to make the conventions I used to make, you know, and I don't get to do a lot of things I used to do because of other responsibilities. But I look forward to this convention, you know, like I said, I mean, I just, you know, like I said, I had this illusion when I got here I was going to go to these workshops because I was so busy, and I didn't do any of them. But I got a lot out of this year. I mean, I got to know myself, I got to know some newcomers, and we got to know some people that, you know, that were here the last 3 conventions. You know, like they say, you know, first one we had 35 people, you know, the 40, somewhere around there. We were all pulling our hair out, and you know, the people came back again, you know, like people said, you know, that you guys said come back and bring a friend, you know, and that's what they have been doing. You know, and I don't remember names, like, you know, I might make people upset because I don't know their names. I just know, hey, they're from Detroit, they're from Chicago, they're from Iowa, you know. I couldn't tell you nobody's name, I just know these people come from Detroit, Cabin 5. You know, I just know where they go. They're there every year, Cabin 5, that's Detroit, you know. Then, like Greg was saying, you know, he's always in Ulrich House in that one room, you know, and I said, yeah, that's the crazy house because, you know, you got all these people from Detroit, Chicago, you know, but everybody has a good time, you know, and it's like, I can't remember names, I remember faces, you know, and that's the grateful thing about this, you know. I mean, if I remembered all the names, you know, I wouldn't get a lot out of it, you know, because to me, names aren't what's there, you know. It's there is the person I know behind that face. You know, and that's who I got to know this year, was the people that were here for number 1. They're here this year, you know, and a couple of us sat down and we talked about things. And it wasn't recovery, it was what they do in life, you know, not what they've been doing in their recovery, but, you know, I got to know the person, you know. It isn't just recovery, it's like, you know, what they do for a living, you know, where they live, how it is where they live. You know, and to me, that's part of recovery too, that we tend to forget. You know, we forget about that we do have a regular life, that we do have jobs, we do have families, you know, and sometimes we get so worked up into the, well, we got to know where they're at in NA, you know, what service position they do, and we forget about the person, you know, that's the person, you know, they do have a life and they're here. And I'm grateful everybody does show up every year, you know, and that it is growing in leaps and bounds, you know, and they told us it would grow in leaps and bounds, you know, like I said, it was like 45, then 80, then 150 this year. Then the other part of me is like, well, we don't want to go too much bigger because 150, that's just enough people I can get to know everybody, you know. You go to these conventions, they have 500 or 600 people, you know, it's like, they're just faces, you know, you never get to know the person that's behind that face. And that's what this is all about, you know. I mean, you can either go canoeing. You know, people, they ask me all these questions, you know, they're like, what about the boats? I said, just go down there and, make sure you have a life jacket and you go boating, and wow, and it's just amazing, the things that you can do, walk the trails. And this year I didn't hear about the tree as much, it was like, well, a couple people say, well, where's that tree? And when I tell them, just go to the end of the path and make a right, you'll find it. And then now we got it started last year, I think, the Indian tribe that comes down here every year. I don't know where they come from. And it was funny, what was it, Saturday night when we had the storm? I heard them beating on the drum out there, and it was getting louder and louder, and then that lightning hit out there, and I think they kind of disbanded real quick. And and the little things that are hilarious, we gotta look at the funny things in recovery that mean a lot, and I guess I'm just grateful to be able to get here. And every year it seems like I come down here the first year with one car, and I don't live that far. And this year I end up having to bring both our cars. We're going camping, and you gotta bring 2 cars. I hate to see if we had to go a long distance. We'd have to. And there's some things in life that I don't understand. Like my wife, well, I gotta have my blow dryer. You gotta have a bathroom, a real bathroom. It's like, yeah. I don't comprehend these things. And it's like, yeah, we're only going for a weekend. Why do you need 3 bags? It's like, can't you get everything into one little night bag? And she's really good at that, but that's, it gets funny though, it's like, you get here with this little bit of stuff, it's time to go home, it's like, man, you're jumping up and down on top of the trunk, getting it shut. It's like, where did I accumulate all this stuff from, And luckily I got 2 cars, so now my car is packed, and the other car is packed, so it's, like I said, I hate to see it if I get, it gets too bad, just coming down here about 45 miles. And I envy, some of these people that come from long distance. I was like, how in the hell they get here? Because I had to take 2 cars and they're bringing 1. And it's like, man, I don't see how they do it. But that's where my recovery is. Like I say, it's like, keeps filling up. But I'm glad I'm here, and I'm glad all the people are here to make this convention. It's not, it is the place, but it's the people that come here to enjoy this place. It isn't, we found, and our higher power give us a real nice place here. They did give us we got fortunate to find a place this close, and to be able to enjoy this. That's what I'm looking at today. We got lucky that our higher power guided us here. We could have this convention, and it's growing, and the people that come back every year, they're growing, and they're the same people, like with Greg, got his 30 days here last year, I think it was, or whatever. Now he's getting his years. And I told him, I said, well, when you get when you get 6 years or 7 years, you're going to be our speaker,
Yeah.
But, and it's just the people here, that's a lot of it. And like I heard a long time ago from a speaker said, wherever we have our conventions, the building's just a building. You take what you got here with you. This will stay here, but you take with you what you received here. You may receive a lot, you may receive nothing, but you'll still take with you what you got here. And with that, I'm glad the people are here. And everybody that lives the long distance, have a safe trip home, because I like to see you back here next year and just drive safe home. Hope you're here next year. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Loretta, and I'm an addict. I'm just going to be real quick. He's saying about 2 cars. We got 1 car. You just got to pack it just right. We got a long distance, and everything fits in there just right. Or you have to take it all out and start over again. But I really enjoyed this convention. You got to, like I said, small. I've been to other conventions, and when you leave, it's kind of back to reality. But this convention, leaving, I think I know I'm going to be back next year, and I want to see these people again. So it's not the same as leaving other conventions. And like I said, keep it small. I hope it don't get too big. This is my first year here, and everybody for 3 months have been looking forward to this, and now I know why. And I got a lot of spiritual, because I'm getting ready to go through a lot of stuff, and I've met some people here that I'm going to be calling them probably. because they'd help me just the things that I've talked, just a little bit I've talked to them here. And I'll probably be calling them to help me out when I'm going through it too. And I love it, and I can't wait to see everybody next year. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lisa and I'm an addict. What Rafe neglected to tell everybody was that he brought 2 extra people with him this year. That's why they needed 2 cars, but I'm just thankful to my higher power for the opportunity to come here. It's been really wonderful, and all the love here is just so great. And the hugs are the best. I've gotten to know a few people that I've known but didn't really know a little bit better, and that's been really neat. But this is some place to truly come back to and to really grow. But thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Cindy. I'm an addict. I wasn't going to share, but I can't resist this opportunity about this hair dryer thing that's popping up here. When I first came here, my expectations weren't real clear. One thing, I thought that this would be a weekend to bond with a friend that I came with from Michigan, and that wasn't what this weekend was for. That didn't happen. And then I thought, well, it'd be good bonding time with my daughter. And that's not what this weekend was for. I spent the first evening trying to get rid of her, and then the rest of the weekend looking for her, because she was having such a good time. And then I found that I was out of my comfort zone, For years, using was what I knew, and that was my comfort zone. And then in recovery and being clean, I didn't realize I'd gotten into another comfort zone of being with the people that I understand and know and are close with in my own meetings there in Michigan. So this was good. I pride myself on, it's easy to say, oh, I'm not cliquey at all when you're on the inside of the clique, right? It feels real good then. And it's been wonderful because people have been warm. And this hair dryer thing, that was like the first opening for me. I felt really alone, I don't know anyone here. I'm in the bathroom, there's Lisa with her hair dryer, and I didn't bring a hair dryer, and then it's a complete stranger. And all of a sudden, I'm vulnerable again. I'm scared, I'm vulnerable, I don't know anyone. Why would anyone here like me or want to talk to me? And I'm losing it. I know the reality. I know I don't ever have to be alone. I know that I'm growing in recovery, and I know that I'm not unique from anyone else here. And we're all here for the same reason and have a lot to give to each other. So I was like, oh no, she's going to say, get away from me. Of course you can't use my hair dryer, and all this. And she was cool, oh, of course you can. And I never even had to borrow it, but I kept thinking, well, I know somebody and I can follow them around now, and I have a friend. And then just being more open throughout the weekend. And it's the little things that we do for each other that we don't even realize when there's a downpour. And Tommy brought in my cigarettes, and then the next thing you know, we're talking and we're sharing and we're growing, and it's been great. And I hope to see you all next year. Thank you.
I'm Gary, I'm an addict. We need to close this in a couple minutes, so I'm going to be brief. First, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank everybody for coming. As usual, what's important about this is what we get out of it. So your coming here changes our lives, and I'm speaking for all the members of the North Central Indiana area. it's been a really great experience for me to be involved with a group of people, some not here, that really believe in what we do in Narcotics Anonymous and are committed to what we do. And when they thought of a title for our convention, they thought the most appropriate thing that we could come up with is that we grow with love, and I feel that all the time in our area. I feel really blessed that when I came here, the people that I found and the people that were here to teach me how to recover were committed to Narcotics Anonymous and committed to what we do and what we do best. The people here taught me about service work, and they said you need to do service work, but remember it's got to be selfless service work. And what you really get out of it is important. What you put into it is not so important. It's what you get out of it. And what you get out of it is that feeling of helping other people. There's things in our readings that most meaningful to me. We're a group of recovering addicts who meet regularly to help each other stay clean. I just keep remembering that. The therapeutic value of one addict helping another is without parallel. And that continues to amaze me. It's just this understanding of how much we need each other and how much we depend on each other for our recovery, and that I can't change my life without a bunch of people here to help me. And I would never have come any distance in recovery without the other people that I met here. So, again, that's been terribly important to my recovery and to all members of North Central Indiana to be able to have this chance to get together. I think it's really important that we have a time when we can step out of our everyday lives and focus on the things that are most important, and just have time to kind of reflect and say, what is important about my life? And coming to the understanding that I'm an addict and I'm different and I need to have time with other addicts, and that I can't change and I can't grow without other addicts. And having a long weekend like this when I can really get close, it changes me. And I think it changes all of us, and that's what we remember most about coming, is just that feeling that something has happened to us and that we've changed a little bit. And what happened is that we've changed each other, and it's how we feel about each other, and we feel each other's commitment to our own recovery and to each other's recovery. And it's really an amazing experience. So we need to close, but I think that we should all be proud of ourselves for what we do and how we do it and how it changes not only our own lives, but the lives of the people in our communities. What we do is just so vitally important, and I think that the most wonderful thing in the world happens here and at our meetings, and I'm very grateful. So are we ready to close? I think we are. Let's do a group hug. I need to make a short announcement. I was going to